The year was 2489 and Earth was silent for the first time in human history. The great cities that once touched the clouds were now covered in dust and shadow. From orbit, the planet looked calm, almost peaceful. But the silence below was not peace. It was defeat. The alien fleet hung in the sky like black scars, thousands of ships moving with cold perfection. They had come 2 months ago and they had not left. The aliens called themselves the Krill. They did not talk to humans. They did not ask for surrender. They simply arrived and started taking. Oceans boiled, satellites burned, armies fell one by one. The people of Earth had tried to fight back, but their weapons were useless. The Krill shield swallowed missiles like rain. In 1 week, every government fell. The survivors hid in caves, subways, and ruins, hoping to be ignored. But not everyone accepted silence. Deep under the ruins of old London, a small group of humans gathered around a broken table. They were soldiers, scientists, and even a few hackers. Their leader was an old soldier named Commander Rhea Morgan. She had seen the fall of New York and the destruction of the Mars colony. Her left arm was metal. Her right eye glowed faintly blue from an old cyber implant. She was tired, but her voice was steady. "They think we're finished," she said, looking at the flickering map on the wall. "They think humans will just die quietly. But they don't know us." Beside her, a young engineer named Malik grinned. He was barely 20. With oil-stained hands and a mind that worked faster than any machine. "I've been working on something," he said. "It's not much, but maybe it can make them bleed." The room went quiet as Malik placed a small cube on the table. It hummed softly, glowing blue. "It's a pulse disruptor. If we can get it close enough to their main command ship, it might shut down their shield grid for a few seconds." "A few seconds?" Rhea asked. "That's all we'll get," Malik said. "But it's all we need." The others looked uncertain. The Krill mothership was surrounded by hundreds of warships. Getting close meant suicide, but in those dark tunnels surrounded by death and fear, even a few seconds of hope felt like sunlight. A tall woman in a torn pilot uniform spoke next. Her name was Juno Vega, once the best pilot in the Earth Defense Fleet. "I still have one working shuttle," she said quietly. "It's buried under debris, but I can make it fly." Rhea looked at her for a long moment, then nodded. "Then we make it count." For the next 3 days they worked in silence. They scavenged old batteries, melted metal for repairs, and rewired engines that had not powered up in months. Every sound echoed through the tunnels. Every spark of welding light reminded them that the Krill could hear. But they worked anyway. Above them, the aliens continued their slow harvest of Earth. Giant machines pulled minerals from the ground, sucking the planet dry. The sky burned red as the atmosphere changed. Humanity was supposed to fade away quietly, but in the darkness of London, a handful of people were preparing to shout one last time. On the 4th night, the shuttle was ready. It was old, scratched and barely holding together, but its engines still growled like thunder. Rhea stood before the team, her metal arm glinting in the dim light. "We're not saving the world," she said. "We're sending a message. Let them know humanity doesn't die easy." They took off before dawn, flying low through the fog-covered ruins. The alien sensors swept the sky like cold eyes searching for movement. Every second felt like borrowed time. Malik sat in the back holding the cube tightly. It pulsed faster, reacting to the energy fields of the alien ships. When they broke through the clouds, they saw it. The Krill mothership. It was the size of a small moon, covered in armor and moving slowly above the planet. The sight made everyone silent. Even Juno's hands trembled for a second before she tightened her grip on the controls. "Once we're close enough, I'll trigger the disruptor," Malik said. "You'll have 5 seconds to fire everything we've got." Rhea smiled grimly. 5 seconds is a lifetime for humans. The shuttle accelerated, diving straight toward the massive ship. Alarms screamed as the Krill detected them. Beams of light shot through the clouds, cutting the air around them. The shuttle shook violently, metal panels tearing off, warning lights flashing red. Malik's hands moved fast, keeping the disruptor stable. "We're almost there," Juno shouted. A blast hit the left engine and the shuttle spun. Flames licked through the cabin. Rhea grabbed the controls with her metal arm, steadying it just enough to keep the nose pointed forward. Malik slammed his hand on the cube. A blinding blue pulse exploded outward, slicing through the clouds. For a heartbeat, every Krill ship froze. Their lights dimmed, shields flickered, and for the first time, the invincible fleet seemed vulnerable. "Now," Rhea yelled. Juno hit the fire control. The shuttle's last missiles launched straight into the mothership's weak point. The explosion was small compared to the ship's size, but it was enough to rip open one section of armor. Fire spread across the alien hull. The shuttle was caught in the blast wave. Metal screamed and the world went white. From orbit, it looked like a spark. Tiny, almost nothing. But that spark spread. Across the planet, humans hiding in bunkers saw the alien ships flicker. They saw hope. And for the first time in months, they dared to believe the fight wasn't over. Humanity had refused to die quietly. Smoke drifted across the night sky as the great alien ship burned high above Earth. For a few shining minutes, the sky glowed with blue fire. In bunkers, in mountains, and in the ruins of cities, people looked up and saw what they thought was impossible. The aliens could be hurt. It was not victory, but it was proof that the enemy could bleed. In the underground base of New Delhi, Captain Elias Park watched the burning light on an old screen. Static filled the room, but the message was clear. He turned to his crew, his voice rough with disbelief. Someone hit them. Someone actually hit the mothership. The survivors around him stared in silence. For months they had lived like ghosts, hiding from patrol drones. Now, for the first time, they felt something stir inside. Not fear, but something older, something dangerous. Hope. Elias straightened. We find out who did that, and we join them. Thousands of kilometers away, on the cold plains of Siberia, a group of farmers and soldiers stood around a burning field. They too had seen the flash in the sky. One of them, an old man named Yaros, spat on the frozen ground. That's no meteor, he said. That's humans fighting back. His granddaughter, barely 16, held a rifle that looked older than her. Can we help? She asked. Yaros nodded slowly. We will. Every hand counts now. News of the explosion spread like wildfire, carried through broken radio signals and whispered messages. Humanity was waking up again. Across continents, hidden cells began to move. Old war machines were pulled from secret shelters. Engineers dug through junkyards searching for anything that could fly or shoot. Even the weak found strength in the thought that maybe, just maybe, they could strike back. On the Krill mothership, chaos filled the halls. The aliens were not used to resistance. Their command core flickered with blue static. Their leader, known only as the Primarch, watched the damage from his throne of glass and light. His voice was cold, sharp, and full of contempt. One of their crafts reached our hull, he said. How? A drone officer bowed, its metal body trembling. Their energy signature was disguised, Primarch. We believed it was debris. The Primarch's eyes glowed red. Debris does not think. Debris does not attack. He raised one long hand and the drone shattered in a burst of white fire. The other officers fell silent. Find where it came from, the Primarch commanded, and erase everything connected to it. Back on Earth in the dark tunnels under London, the survivors' base was quiet. The explosion had been seen around the world, but the people who caused it were missing. For 2 days, no signal came from Rhea, Juno, or Malik. Everyone believed they were gone. Then on the 3rd day, a weak transmission cut through the static. It was Malik's voice, broken but alive. Rhea, Juno, we're alive. Crash site. North sector. We need extraction. The message ended in static, but it was enough. Commander Rhea Morgan had survived the blast. The shuttle had crashed deep in the wastelands, half buried under metal and ash. Malik's pulse disruptor was destroyed, but they were breathing. Juno's leg was injured, her pilot suit torn, yet she still smiled. You did it, kid, she said to Malik. You made them bleed. Malik looked up at the smoky sky. They'll come for us now. They already are, Rhea said, scanning the horizon. Alien drones were descending, glowing like fireflies of death. She gripped her rifle and took a deep breath. Let them. The drones found only ruins when they arrived. Rhea's team had already moved. They knew the Krill would hunt them, so they went underground again, heading toward the old tunnels that led to Europe's hidden resistance network. Every mile was dangerous. The aliens searched the skies, scanning for life signs, but humans were clever. They hid their warmth, their movement, their voices. They had learned how to vanish. In the ruins of Berlin, a group of old engineers received Malik's incomplete signal. They managed to decode part of the disruptor's design. One of them, an elderly woman named Dr. Kessler, smiled faintly as she read the data. This could change everything, she whispered. The humans began rebuilding. They called it Operation Dawn. Every hidden base, every old ship, every scavenged weapon became part of the plan. They would not fight like before, not with open battles but with speed, tricks, and unity. Humanity would turn the whole planet into a trap. Meanwhile, in orbit, the Krill gathered their full power. The Primarch had chosen Earth's final punishment, a weapon called the Sun Piercer, capable of burning the entire atmosphere in one strike. It was being charged, its energy core glowing brighter with each hour. On the ground, no one knew the weapon was coming. They only knew one thing: the aliens had been hurt, and that meant they could be hurt again. Commander Ria's message spread through the underground channels. "We are still here. We will not die quietly. Fight for every breath." In every ruined city, someone answered. In the silence of deep oceans, submarines came back online. In the mountains, old satellites powered up, sending coded signals into the sky. The aliens had thought Earth was broken. But the sound they were now hearing was not silence anymore. It was the sound of a species waking up, angry and ready. Above the clouds, the Krill mothership glowed like a wound in the heavens. The war for Earth was not over. It was only beginning, and humanity was done hiding. 3 weeks had passed since the explosion that tore through the Krill mothership. The sky was still filled with alien ships, but something had changed on Earth. People were no longer whispering in fear. They were speaking in purpose. Across the broken world, humanity was uniting in ways the Krill never expected. Commander Ria Morgan and her team had made it to an underground shelter in northern Europe. The tunnels were cold and damp, filled with old machines and human survivors who refused to give up. Malik spent every waking hour rebuilding a new version of his pulse disruptor. Juno, though injured, trained new pilots to fly whatever aircraft could still move. Ria worked without rest, linking small resistance groups into one voice. From her command post, she looked at a flickering holographic map. Red dots marked alien activity across the planet. Blue dots, once rare, were spreading, human cells rising again. "We're not soldiers anymore," Ria said quietly. "We're the infection they can't cure." Malik grinned through the dirt on his face. "Then let's make sure it spreads fast." In the ruins of what was once Tokyo, a hacker named Aaron Tanaka sat surrounded by glowing screens powered by stolen alien tech. His hands moved fast, breaking into the Krill communication grid. Every few hours, he sent out coded transmissions carrying Ria's message. Humanity fights. Humanity stands. The signal reached South America, Africa, the frozen north, and the deep-sea bases. It reached places the Krill scanners had missed. It told people that Earth was not lost. It told them that the Krill could be hurt, and that Ria Morgan's team had shown the way. On the alien mothership, the Primarch stood before a vast window of dark glass. Below, the planet glowed faintly blue. He watched the chaos spreading across the continents. "They should be afraid," he said to his generals. "Instead, they are multiplying like a virus." A general bowed. "We have located the origin of their transmissions. They come from multiple sources. The humans are coordinating." "Then burn them," the Primarch said coldly. "If they want to fight, let them learn what despair truly means." In orbit, the alien weapon known as Sun Piercer began to awaken. Its massive energy core hummed, drawing power from the fleet. It was designed to fire a single beam strong enough to ignite Earth's upper atmosphere. Once fired, everything would burn, but the humans did not know that yet. They only knew that alien patrols were increasing, and time was running out. Ria's underground base received a new transmission from Tokyo. Aaron Tanaka had done the impossible. He had found a weakness in the alien command net. It was heavily encrypted, but it revealed one critical detail: the location of the Sun Piercer control relay, hidden inside an orbiting platform near the dark side of the moon. Ria stared at the data. "If we destroy that relay, we stop their weapon," she said. "At least for a while." Juno leaned on her crutch and smirked. "So we're going to the moon now? Always wanted to see it up close." Malik laughed softly, though his eyes were serious. "We'll need a ship that can reach orbit and come back alive. And a pilot crazy enough to try it," Juno grinned. "You're looking at her." For the next few days, the base turned into a storm of activity. Mechanics and engineers worked side by side, welding together pieces of old Earth warships, transport pods, and even broken alien drones. They called their creation the Phoenix. It wasn't pretty, but it was fast and silent. It was built from the bones of a dead world, meant to carry the last spark of life. While they prepared, Ria sent messages to other resistance groups. Her words became a rallying cry. The Krill came to end us. They think we'll fade away. But humanity is not a whisper. We are thunder. In New Delhi, Captain Elias Park led his fighters to destroy an alien refinery. In Siberia, Yaros and his granddaughter used homemade railguns to shoot down drones. Across the world, small battles lit up the night. Tiny flames against the darkness, each one screaming the same truth. The Krill began to feel pressure. Their perfect order was breaking apart. For the first time, the aliens experienced confusion. The humans were everywhere and nowhere, striking fast, vanishing faster. When the Phoenix finally launched, every hidden base listened to the signal. Juno sat in the pilot seat, Rhea beside her, Malik monitoring the systems. The ship lifted from an abandoned runway in Iceland, its engines whispering instead of roaring. As it climbed higher, the stars grew brighter. "Think we'll make it?" Malik asked. Juno smiled, eyes locked on the sky. "We always make it. That's the problem they have with us. They broke through the clouds, escaping radar. The alien fleet loomed far above, massive ships moving like shadows." Juno guided the Phoenix through the debris field left by earlier battles. Every second was a gamble. Back on Earth, the resistance waited. Everyone knew the mission's risk. If the Phoenix failed, the planet was doomed. On the mothership, the Primarch watched the energy levels of the Sun Piercer rise. "One more cycle," he said, "and their world will burn." But deep in space, 3 humans were already closing in on the relay station that powered the weapon. They drifted in the dark, silent and invisible. Malik armed the disruptor. Rhea checked her rifle and Juno whispered, "Let's wake them up." The ship moved forward, toward the alien moon base glowing faintly in the shadows. The final war for Earth had just reached the stars. The stars looked cold and endless as the Phoenix drifted in the shadow of the moon. The ship was silent, its lights off, its engines cooled. Only the soft hum of Malik's machines broke the stillness. Far ahead, the Krill relay station floated like a dark spider made of metal, its arms stretching in every direction. Energy pulsed along its surface, feeding the weapon the aliens called the Sun Piercer. Commander Rhea Morgan studied the structure through the cracked window. "That thing powers their weapon," she said quietly. "If we can destroy it, we buy Earth time." Juno adjusted the flight controls with one steady hand. "Getting close won't be the problem," she said. "Getting out alive will." Malik checked the disruptor cube strapped to his chest. It was smaller than before, rebuilt from the wreckage of the first one. "This pulse can shut down the relay for a few minutes," he explained. "But we'll need to be inside for it to work." Rhea nodded. "Then we go inside." The Phoenix glided closer, using the moon's shadow to hide from scanners. When they reached the station's outer hull, Juno fired small thrusters and slowed the ship until it gently touched the surface. The 3 humans put on their suits and moved into the airlock. Their boots clamped onto the metal, magnets holding them firm in the weightless dark. "Stay quiet, stay fast," Rhea whispered through the comm. "No mistakes." They moved across the curved hull until they reached a maintenance hatch. Malik used a small plasma cutter to open it. Inside, blue light pulsed like veins. The alien technology was alive, breathing energy. The humans slipped inside, crawling through narrow tunnels that smelled like ozone and burnt iron. As they entered the main corridor, they saw the first Krill up close. The creature was tall, almost insect-like, with a smooth black shell and 4 arms. Its eyes glowed silver, and it carried a weapon that looked grown, not built. Juno froze. Rhea raised her rifle and fired once. The pulse shot pierced the alien's chest. It fell silently, light leaking from its wound. Malik looked at the body with wide eyes. "They bleed blue," he whispered. "Keep moving," Rhea said. "More will come." They reached the central chamber, a vast room filled with glowing energy pillars. At the center was the relay core, a sphere of light surrounded by rotating rings. Malik's scanner beeped wildly. "That's it," he said. "That's the heart." Rhea set her rifle down and covered the doors while Malik placed the disruptor on the platform. His hand shook as he connected wires and activated the pulse sequence. The device began to hum, growing brighter. But the Krill had already noticed the breach. Red lights flared across the walls and mechanical screeches echoed through the corridors. Drones poured in from every direction. Juno took cover behind a pillar, firing quick bursts. "We've got company!" she shouted. Malik worked faster. Sparks flew from the cube. 30 seconds, he yelled. Rhea took aim and fired again and again. The air filled with smoke and the smell of metal. Her mechanical arm deflected a beam that would have cut her in half. Juno's shoulder was grazed, but she didn't stop shooting. The floor shook as more drones entered. Malik slammed his hand on the cube. "It's ready, do it," Rhea shouted. Malik hit the trigger. A wave of blue energy exploded from the core, racing through the walls and floors. Every alien light flickered and went dark. The entire station shuddered. For a moment, everything was silent. Then the alarms returned, louder than before. Malik stared at the cube. It had overloaded. "The core is unstable," he said. "It's going to blow." Rhea grabbed his arm. "Then we leave now." They ran through the corridors as the walls cracked around them. Fire and lightning burst from the machinery. The krill screamed in confusion, their systems collapsing. Juno led the way, her voice sharp through the comm. "Airlock ahead, move it." They reached the outer hatch just as the explosion began. The blast tore through the station, a blinding blue wave spreading into space. The humans launched themselves off the surface, their suits carrying them away from the debris. Behind them, the relay station broke apart, pieces scattering into the void. From orbit, the krill mothership saw the explosion. The Sunpiercer's energy readings dropped to 0. Its power connection was gone. In the command chamber, the Primarch rose slowly. His voice was cold and full of fury. "They reached the stars," he said. "They touched our machines." He turned to his generals. "Find them. I want their world to burn." Back on the Phoenix, Juno struggled to stabilize the ship. The blast wave had damaged their engines. "We've lost control," she said. "We're falling toward Earth." Rhea strapped Malik in and looked out the window. The planet below was growing larger, blue and bright. "At least we're going home," she said quietly. The ship hit the atmosphere, flames wrapping around it like fire from the gods. Inside, everything shook. The controls sparked, alarms screamed, and gravity returned in full force. Juno fought to keep the nose up. "Come on, baby," she whispered to the ship. "Don't die yet." The Phoenix crashed in the deserts of northern Africa, sliding across the sand before coming to a stop. Smoke rose from the wreck, but miraculously, all three were alive. Malik coughed, his suit torn. "We made it," he said weakly. Rhea stepped out onto the sand and looked up. The night sky was full of falling debris, the remains of the relay station burning like shooting stars. "No," she said. "We didn't just make it. We gave Earth another day." Far above, the Primarch's fleet began to move. The aliens were furious and their vengeance was coming, but the humans were ready now. They had seen the krill's fear, and once again humanity had refused to die quietly. The desert wind carried smoke and heat across the wreck of the Phoenix. The ship was broken in half, its wings buried under sand. Rhea, Juno, and Malik moved slowly, patching wounds and checking supplies. They were alive, but barely. The sun rose red above them, turning the sky into fire. Rhea looked at the horizon through her cracked visor. "We can't stay here," she said. "They'll track the crash." Juno nodded, limping but determined. "There's an old resistance base 200 kilometers north. If it's still there, we can make contact." Malik adjusted his pack and smiled weakly. "Then we walk. At least it's quiet." They started moving through the dunes, their shadows long against the sand. Above them, alien ships crossed the sky like dark birds. The krill were hunting again. But this time they weren't facing scattered survivors. Humanity was fighting back. Across the planet, the war had changed. The destruction of the relay had shaken the krill network. Their weapon, the Sunpiercer, was silent. For the first time, the aliens had to fight on human terms. In Asia, human resistance forces launched coordinated attacks on krill outposts. In South America, engineers turned old power plants into electromagnetic traps that fried alien drones. In Europe, underground cities began to rise again, filled with life and hope. The blue dots on Rhea's old map were spreading fast. The Primarch watched from his throne aboard the mothership. His red eyes glowed with fury. "They refuse to die," he said. "Every city we destroy, they rebuild. Every battle we win, they steal from us." A general stepped forward carefully. "Their numbers are growing, Primarch. They move like shadows. We can no longer track them all." The Primarch stood, his voice echoing across the chamber. "Then we will make them come to us. Prepare the purge. I want every remaining human signal destroyed." In the desert, Rhea's team reached the ruins of an old communication tower. It had once connected continents, now it stood half-buried in sand. Malik crawled inside and started repairing the power cell. Sparks lit the dark. "If I can boost the signal," he said. I can contact command and let them know we're alive. Juno kept watch from the doorway. Her eyes scanned the endless dunes. We're not alone, she said suddenly. Rhea turned sharply. What do you see? A dust cloud was rising in the distance and fast wide and closing in. At first they thought it was the wind, but then the shapes appeared. Dozens of vehicles flying low, covered in armor and human flags. Malik grinned. It's them. It's our people. The convoy stopped beside the tower. Out stepped Captain Elias Park, covered in dust and wearing a smile that didn't hide his exhaustion. You made quite an entrance, he said. We saw your crash from orbit. Rhea shook his hand. We hit their relay. The Sunpiercer is down. Elias's eyes widened. You did that? Every base on Earth saw the explosion. You gave us time to breathe. Malik nodded, pride in his tired eyes. But they'll come harder now. We need to use that time. Rhea looked around at the convoy. Dozens of fighters, engineers, and survivors. Then let's start building the next phase, she said. We stop hiding. We take the fight to them. That night, under a sky full of falling stars, the leaders of Earth's resistance gathered. They formed the first United Council since the war began. The plan was simple but daring. The Krill's control depended on 3 orbital command ships. If humans could destroy even one of them, the alien fleet would collapse into chaos. Elias pointed at the holographic map. We've rebuilt 2 orbital launch systems. Crude, but they work. We can get a strike team up there. Juno smirked. Guess who's flying? Malik laughed softly. Just make sure we come back this time. Rhea's voice was calm but powerful. We've lost our cities. We've lost our homes. But not our will. We'll remind them what humanity means. The next days were filled with work. Mechanics welded armor. Scientists calibrated engines. Soldiers trained with focus that came only from pain and hope mixed together. The air was thick with energy. Then the skies changed again. Massive alien carriers descended, casting shadows over the continents. The purge had begun. Entire valleys lit up with fire. Oceans boiled as beams of white energy struck the water. The Krill were furious and desperate, but Earth fought back. Fighter jets rose from hidden bases, launching missiles made from scrap and stolen alien tech. Railguns hidden in mountains fired upward, piercing the sky. Every explosion painted the air with defiance. Rhea's team boarded their new ship, the Horizon, faster and stronger than the Phoenix. As the engines roared, Malik looked at the others. This is it, he said. No second chances. Juno gripped the controls. Wouldn't want any. They rose through the burning clouds, the planet glowing red beneath them. In orbit, the alien command ships waited, surrounded by smaller escorts. The sky was a battlefield of light. From his throne, the Primarch watched them approach. They come again, he said. They never learn. But he was wrong. Humanity had learned. They had learned to adapt, to unite, to fight without fear. As the Horizon broke through the enemy formation, Rhea's voice echoed through every human channel on Earth. This is Commander Rhea Morgan. We stand for every life they tried to erase, for every city they burned. We are humanity, and we are not done. The humans launched their attack. The space above Earth turned into fire and metal. The war that began in silence had become a storm, and once again the universe learned the oldest rule of all. Humanity never dies quietly. The stars were burning. Space above Earth was alive with fire and movement as the battle began. Human ships, old and rough, moved like sparks around the giant alien fleet. Every explosion looked like a small sun. Every second a fight for survival. The Horizon darted through debris, its engines glowing faint blue. Juno's hands moved fast on the controls, guiding the ship between the trails of alien fire. Malik sat behind her, his console covered with glowing screens. Rhea stood near the window, calm but alert, her eyes tracking the chaos ahead. There it is, Malik said. The first command ship. If we destroy that, their whole fleet will lose coordination. The alien ship was enormous, a city of metal floating in the void. It pulsed with light, its weapons firing rhythmically toward Earth's defenders. Around it, smaller drones moved like insects, shielding it from every angle. Juno smirked. Looks impossible. My favorite kind of mission. Rhea's voice was firm. Take us in low and close. Malik, charge the disruptor. We'll need it. The ship weaved through enemy fire, flying dangerously near the alien hulls. 2 human fighters exploded beside them, but their sacrifice opened a path. Juno dove through it, pushing the Horizon faster. Inside the alien command ship, the Primarch watched from his throne. "They come again?" he said softly. "One ship, fragile and full of courage. They do not understand they are already dead." He raised his hand. Energy flared across the alien vessel as hundreds of cannons turned toward the horizon. Malik shouted, "Shields can't handle that." Rhea looked at Juno. "Then don't let them hit us." The ship twisted violently, spinning between energy beams. Every blast made the hull groan. Sparks filled the cockpit and warning lights flashed red. But Juno's focus never broke. Her eyes were sharp, her hands steady. "Hold on," she yelled. She pulled the ship into a tight roll, sliding underneath the alien hull. For a moment, everything went dark as they passed through the ship's shadow. Malik locked the disruptor onto the power nodes visible on his scanner. "I've got a reading," he said. "If we hit those nodes, we can overload their core." "Then let's knock," Rhea said. The horizon opened fire. Missiles streaked forward, striking the alien metal. The explosions rippled across the hull. Blue light flashed and part of the ship's shield flickered. The Krill fleet reacted instantly, drones swarming toward the humans. "More incoming," Juno shouted. "Keep firing," Rhea ordered. "Make them bleed." The humans on the ground saw the flashes from orbit. Across the world, people stopped what they were doing and looked up. For the first time, they saw human ships standing against the enemy sky. Every child, every survivor, every soldier watching knew the battle wasn't just about winning. It was about showing that humanity was still alive. Malik's disruptor reached full charge. "Ready?" he said. "Do it." Rhea commanded. He hit the trigger. A pulse of energy burst from the horizon, washing over the alien ship like a blue wave. The lights on the alien vessel dimmed and its shield collapsed. "That's it," Juno yelled. Their armors open. Every human ship nearby saw the gap and fired. Missiles, plasma bolts, and kinetic slugs slammed into the exposed core. The alien command ship began to break apart, glowing brighter and brighter until it exploded in a massive blue flash. The shockwave hit the horizon, spinning it out of control. Juno fought the controls, trying to level it. Rhea grabbed the seat to steady herself. "Status?" she shouted. "Engines damaged," Malik said. "Main thrusters offline." "We're drifting." They could see the debris field spinning around them. Pieces of alien metal, shattered drones, and the remains of human ships. Communication channels were filled with static and desperate voices. "This is Captain Elias," a voice broke through. "We saw the explosion. The first command ship is gone." "Repeat, it's destroyed." Cheers filled the channel. Across Earth, resistance fighters screamed in triumph. Even in hidden bunkers, people cried with joy. But Rhea wasn't celebrating yet. She looked out at the alien fleet regrouping. They're not done. They'll send everything they have now. On the mothership, the Primarch's calm face cracked with rage. His voice thundered through the command chamber. "Prepare the final weapon. If this world must burn, so be it." Below, the humans didn't know what was coming. They only knew the sky had changed again. Juno managed to stabilize the ship just above the upper atmosphere. "We're not dead yet," she said through clenched teeth. Malik wiped sweat from his forehead. "I can reroute power from life support to engines, but we'll only have 5 minutes of thrust." "Then 5 minutes is all we need," Rhea said. "We're taking the fight to the Primarch," Malik stared at her. "To the mothership? That's suicide." Rhea's eyes were cold and steady. "He wants to end humanity." "Let's end him first," Juno smiled slightly. "Knew you'd say that." The ship turned toward the largest of the alien vessels and the Primarch's throne. It glowed like a black sun, its armor thicker than a city wall. The humans knew the odds, but it didn't matter anymore. "Send a message to all units," Rhea said. "Tell them this is it. Tell them we're going for the heart." Malik opened the comms. His voice went out across space, across every base on Earth. "To all resistance fighters, this is the horizon. We're attacking the mothership. For every life they took, for every city they burned, this is for us all." Juno pushed the throttle forward. The ship surged ahead, flames rising behind it as it entered the thickest part of the battle. The alien fleet fired everything they had, but the horizon kept moving, cutting through the fire like a blade. On the ground, billions of eyes watched the sky. Every person who could see that faint streak of light whispered the same thing. "Don't stop." The final fight for Earth was beginning. The black sky was full of fire. Every star was hidden by the light of battle. The alien fleet circled the massive mothership like a wall of metal and death. And through that storm, one small ship kept flying in the horizon. Inside, alarms screamed. Sparks flew from the ceiling. Malik's fingers moved fast across the console, trying to keep systems alive. Juno's eyes burned with focus as she flew through the chaos. Rhea stood behind them, silent, watching the huge shadow of the Primarch's ship grow larger and larger. The mothership was a monster. Its surface looked alive, moving with strange energy veins that pulsed in rhythm. Thousands of alien cannons glowed bright red, tracking the horizon as it approached. "They're locking on," Malik said. "Let them," Rhea replied softly. Juno grinned, even through the fear. "You better have a plan, Commander." Rhea looked at the screen showing the alien core deep inside the ship. "We can't destroy that thing from outside. We need to go inside." Juno's eyes widened. "Inside, you mean through their hangar?" "Exactly," Rhea said. "The outer armor is too thick, but their docking bays are open. They'll think we're trying to surrender or crash. That's our way in." Malik shook his head. "That's suicide." Rhea smiled faintly. "Everything we've done was suicide. But we're still here." Juno's hands tightened on the controls. "Then let's give them something to remember." The ship accelerated. Alien cannons fired, lighting the dark. Energy beams passed so close they melted parts of the hull. One shot tore off the right wing, spinning the ship sideways, but Juno fought the controls with pure will. "Hold it together," she whispered. The horizon dove toward the open hangar of the mothership. Aliens inside turned their weapons toward it, firing nonstop. The small ship roared through, crashing into the deck with a loud explosion that threw everyone forward. Smoke filled the air. Malik coughed, grabbing his chest. "We're alive somehow." Rhea stood up, grabbing her rifle. "Not for long if we stay here. Move." They stepped out into the alien hangar, a huge hall filled with strange machines and glowing blue lights. The walls pulsed like veins of a living creature. Alien soldiers ran toward them. Weapons raised, Juno and Rhea opened fire. The fight was brutal and fast. The air filled with noise and light as human bullets met alien plasma. Malik used his wrist console to overload the hangar lights, creating blinding flashes that confused the enemy. When the smoke cleared, dozens of aliens were down. Rhea's armor was scorched and Juno's shoulder was bleeding, but they kept moving forward. Malik looked at his scanner. "The core chamber is 2 decks down. I can open a path through maintenance tunnels." "Then do it," Rhea said. They moved through narrow halls full of strange sounds and alien symbols. The walls vibrated as if the ship itself was alive and angry. Each step felt heavier, like the air was pressing against them. Finally, they reached a circular chamber. In its center was a glowing sphere, the heart of the mothership. Energy flowed through it like rivers of light. Around it stood the Primarch. He was tall, his body made of dark metal and living flesh. His eyes burned white. His voice echoed through the chamber. "You came so far," he said. "For what? To die inside my creation?" Rhea raised her weapon. "No, to end it." The Primarch stepped forward, energy swirling around him. "You humans never know when to surrender. Your world is already ashes. Why fight?" Rhea's voice was calm. "Because we are not made to die quietly." The Primarch moved faster than any human could see. His energy blast threw Rhea across the floor. Juno screamed and fired at him, but the shots bounced off his armor. Malik tried to hack the energy field, typing frantically. The Primarch grabbed Juno by the throat and lifted her. "You are weak." Rhea, bleeding and in pain, forced herself up. She saw the power core behind the Primarch, glowing brighter. "Malik," she shouted. "Overload the reactor." Now Malik hesitated, "But that will do it." Malik hit the final command. The core began to pulse faster, light filling the room. The Primarch turned, realizing too late what they had done. Rhea charged forward with her last strength, tackling him toward the core. Energy erupted around them. She looked at Juno for the last time. "Go, tell them we fought." Juno's eyes filled with tears. "Rhea, go!" Juno grabbed Malik, pulling him toward the escape tunnel. They ran as the chamber filled with fire. The energy storm exploded behind them, shaking the entire ship. The horizon, half broken but still alive, launched itself out of the mothership, just as the explosion consumed everything. The alien ship cracked apart, blue fire spreading through its veins until it vanished in a burst of light. From Earth, people saw it happen. The largest explosion in human history, a light brighter than the sun. And then silence. The alien ships began to fall, their systems dead. One by one, they dropped from the sky. Juno and Malik drifted above the planet in their damaged ship, staring at the burning remains of the alien fleet. The radio crackled with human voices cheering and crying. "She did it," Malik whispered. Juno nodded slowly. "Rhea saved us all." Below, the cities began to light up again. People came out from bunkers looking at the sky.